In today's video, I am going to be breaking down RJ Barrett, one of the best Canadian basketball players in the NBA, and how he shoots the basketball. Let's get down and let's check out his basketball shooting form. Okay, so first we're going to do a nice close-up view. He is a left-handed shooter, and just like many other left-handed shooters, he really tilts his body away from the rim. This goes against every single coach. They will always tell you to square up towards the basket, but with left-handed shooters, you generally will not see this. So when RJ Barrett gets that ball, he does slightly dip it in most cases. He catches in here, he catches at his shoulders, he dips down to his waist to go back up into his set point. Now really quickly, let's look at his base. His base, he is up on his toes. This is very good because this is going to allow him to have his fast twitch muscles work for him, and he's able to get up into the air much faster, which means that he should have a quicker shooting form than those players that do not get their heels off the ground. He also brings in his left knee quite a bit towards his right knee. Now there are some people who say that this could show a future problem with knee injuries on his left knee. I don't personally see it that way. From there, what I see is that the outside of his quad is actually probably a bit stronger than the inside of his quad, and because of that he brings his knee in, or at least when he was younger that's probably the case. From there, he brings the ball up the left side of his body, which is what most coaches will teach you to do. However, when he does get up into his set point, we do see that he is tilted away from the rim towards the right side, and this is something that, again, a lot of left-handed basketball players will do, same as his hips and his knees. We'll also see very good that his shoulder is in line with his elbow towards the rim. This is the main part of your aim. The next part is having the basketball over top of somewhere between your elbow and your shoulder, or somewhere in between. And that is what we see here. It does seem that the ball is in front of his left forehead, just slightly above, and then we can see that his offhand is tilted higher above the ball. Sometimes you'll see players who have a lower right hand or lower guide hand. Either way, it doesn't matter all that much when it comes to the guide hand, as long as you're not really shooting with your thumb. Now, some good players do shoot with their thumb, and we do see here that RJ Barrett does not shoot with his thumb. However, what we do see is that his right hand, his guide hand, does tend to stay on the ball for a longer period than most other players. And the reason for this is if there was a player who was coming and going to hit his arm or hit his shoulder, hit his body, whatever it may be, he's going to have more control over that ball. However, by having your guide hand on the ball for so long can make you have a slower shot. When he does go up to release, we do actually see that there is space between the palms and the ball, which will allow you to have more control over the ball. And we do see that it does seem like his middle finger, or he may have a ring finger, middle finger release. However, we do see that his elbow is very high above his forehead, which is going to give him arc that is very well needed in the NBA. He does also hold his form for a good amount of time, which will allow him to have a very consistent shot. Now, from this other clip that we're going to look at, we also want to look at how far he jumps forward on his shot. You generally don't want to jump forward or sideways on your shot, mainly because it could become an inconsistency for you, mainly because if you jump a different distance forward, that means that you need to add or take away your power from your shot, which would then mean less leg strength, or maybe a higher or a lower release, things like that. And meanwhile, this is something that a lot of players will do, and a lot of very good NBA players will jump forward. You don't usually want to teach your players this, at least, because by jumping forward, again, that is about a foot forward, maybe 2 feet forward on his shot, which means that if, let's say, there was a very tight defender on him and he could only jump maybe 6 inches forward, that would then make him need to do different calculations on how high he has to jump and things like that. However, what we can see here is even though there's a defender on him, he still does jump forward. Now, the thing I do want to stress with jumping forward on your shot with a defender guarding you is, sure, you could get fouls called if their foot goes underneath yours, you could get some extra shots, but you are now risking a very large or serious injury, and personally, I would never suggest jumping too far forward for any player shooting a basketball. Now, on his gather, I do like his footwork. So what he does here is he's able to jump up, land. He already has his feet essentially set for the shot, but because he has so much room between him and his defenders, and I'm going to say defenders with an S because all three of these players could have ran out to defend him, he does still have the ability to reset that left foot, and he does this quite a bit when he's wide open for that shot. And how I like to look at it is, if you're giving him enough space to be able to reset his left foot so that he can have a better foot placement for his own shooting style, your team needs to really start defending him tighter because he's going to hit that majority of the time. You know right now that left foot is a very big key when it comes to his shot. So here he's drifting right. He's still able to then step that left foot down, and this is something that if you're looking for a consistent shot, if something is just not consistent with your shot, let's say you could hit 10 threes and then miss 10 in a row, then make 10 and miss 10, this may be something. So if you're left-handed and if you have the ability to try and kick your foot down, that could allow you to get your left side of your body in line towards the basketball net. And same as if you're right-handed, you can kick down the right foot and do the exact same thing and get your body in line. Now, RJ Barrett, in my opinion, is a very good shooter. However, if he was to really work on how far forward he jumps on a shot, I actually think that he could raise his shooting percentage by maybe 2 or 3%, which may not seem like a lot, but it could also help him get maybe an extra 2, 3, or even 4 more points in a game, or maybe in a series in the playoffs. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I hope that he does well in his career and he does well this summer for Team Canada in the Olympics. Anyways, I'll see you guys in my next video.